home with my babies, so.
To order the meeting of June 23rd, 2026. It is 6 p.m. This is the Historic Preservation Commission meeting. We're going to go around the room, and I'll ask that all members please introduce themselves, speaking into the microphone.
Joy Pickanu.
Caitlin Stubbs.
Elizabeth Jones, I am the chair.
Jane Camp.
Charles Bradley.
All right, now I'm going to allow the city staff to please introduce themselves, and I want to note that Brad Callender is not here today.
Lexi Robinson, the Historic Preservation Planner.
Laura Powell, City Clerk.
Thank you both. Next, we will have the approval of the agenda, and I'm going to ask if everybody has had a chance to review the agenda for today's meeting. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
I so move.
I
Okay.
second.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carried. Now we are going to have an approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of May 26, 2026?
Yes.
Okay, and I want to note that last month, May 26, we did not have a quorum, so the two items on that calendar were both passed. Do I have any changes or corrections to the minutes of May 26, 2026? No? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. We don't have any old business today, so we will move to our first item of new business. It looks like we have a COA for 223 8th Street.
Yes, so for 223 8th Street, the applicant is applying for new construction of a two-story single-family home. So currently, this is the lot, and this would be the front elevation of the two-story single-family home. It would be a 1,440 square foot home, and would have a driveway to the right elevation of the home, which we can see in the plan over there. So it's going to be got 6/6 double hung windows on most of the house, except for on the left elevation. It's going to be a 16 pane window. Most of the house is going to be hardy board siding, except for on the front dormer, the large rectangle dormer. It would be board and batten on there. The roof is a gable with architect shingles on it. The front door is a 6-panel door, but the back door, there's the left elevation, sorry to see y'all, with the siding. This is the rear elevation and the right elevation. The back door is a wood multi-light door. And both the front and back, the front is a full width front porch that covers the entire front facade, and the back is a back smaller, just a cover, porch over the back door area. And yeah, that pretty much is that. So all of these are all our guidelines for new construction when it comes to this house. And there's a lot of them. So I'm gonna give y'all just like the rundown so I don't have to read all of these. So basically when it comes to new construction, we look for things that are recognizing basic concepts of like design and making sure it like goes with the character of the district and it is appropriate for the character. That is the mass, the height, and the form. So this being a 2-story home and incorporating the architectural elements of this and like keeping within that significance. So a lot of the houses on the street are single story or 2-story homes. This one is. They have a lot of wood elements. This one does. They have a lot of 6/6 double hung windows. This one also does. So it incorporates a lot of those elements like our new construction guidelines do say. And then here's some more guidelines for you with windows, materials, and details. Like the window, the gable roof, again, is a very popular roof style for this area. So that's one of the details that is in our guidelines that this new construction applies to, and the same with the wood siding. Even though it's not wood, it's actually hardy board. It has the wood look of the siding that would be appropriate for this area. And board and batten, there is another house that is not, it's kind of, I don't know if I can see it great on this map. So this is 8th Street. And if you right here, now I think it's this house or this house is new construction also. And it has board and batten on it as well. So it would also go with that material. Is another very similar a material that was approved in this district. So all of these combined to, staff recommends approval for this COA.
All right, thank you,
That's
Alexis.
it.
All right, I'm going to ask at this time if the applicant would step forward. If you could just step forward and introduce yourself to the panel.
I am representing the builder who will be developing this single-family home.
Thanks, Ari. Is there anything you want to add to what Alexis has stated?
It's all accurate. I do have a couple of questions just for clarification to make
Okay.
sure we're all on the same page moving forward, if it is approved. As far as the design standards, nothing would change structurally, roof pitch, things like that, window size. I did want to ask if there are any specific design standards that require the 6-pane window, or if it could just be a single over single. 1 over 1 is another term for it. So it's still open, slides open as a 6-pane. It just doesn't have the decorative, I guess, frames that kind of break up that window more. Is that a design standard as required?
Yeah, so if y'all wanted to have that option, commission, if you deem that appropriate, you could add that within one of your conditions if you decide to do that. That would just be giving you the option as to either do it a 1 over 1 double hung or a 6 over 6 double hung, if y'all deem that appropriate.
Okay.
And because it is new construction, I think that could be something that y'all could all consider. Because I think the building itself does mesh well with the district and doesn't take away from the significance of the district. It complements it. Does anyone on the panel have questions?
This is just personally me speaking. I think the 6 over 6 would look better.
Okay.
Are you questioning having the artificial mullets rather than actual a single pane? Are you talking about? Do you know what I'm saying?
So it would still operation as an open window. So you would still have the bottom pane, I guess, that you slide up, and then the top is still stationary in a sense. But these, could you by chance go back where it shows the elevation? It just has like little frames.
Sorry.
That's okay, that one's fine. So those on those top, that dormer facade, it has those individual lines that kind of break up and they look like a 3 by 4 inch window. It would just take away those smaller frames that break up that window. So same window shape, same positioning, it would just be one window frame up top, and then the bottom one is one frame in a sense that slides up.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
I was more thinking about, because these days it seems most of the time you have a single pane, even if it is has the illusion of being multiple frames. Frames. But so what you're saying, you would rather not have that at all.
If it's not a requirement, I think that when we build our homes, just in other areas, and we've built homes in this area as well, just not in the historic district. I think that the city and the residents and everybody who is looking to live in the area or move to the area, they're happy with that appearance. So the other route is more typically what we go to when we build. So if that would be permitted and allowed, of course, I think we would rather go that way. But of course, if it's not and you have a preference to keep it where it's the 6 pane and have that extra frame look on there, then we can do that.
Does anybody else have a question?
It's kind of hard to visualize.
Okay. No more questions from the panel?
No, I see what you're talking about the door, it's too many panes.
Yes.
I like panes,
Okay.
you know, but, you know, 1/1 would look nice too, so.
Okay.
And you are seeing a lot of the 1/1s
Right.
in new construction today.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I like panes.
Yeah. Kind of takes it back to the,
A little
yeah.
bit, just a little.
And then so similar concept, I guess, with the larger window on the side of the house. I think it was a 16 pane look. So that one's not operational, it won't open. And sometimes that one, we don't have, again, those extra frames that kind of break up that window. That is a 4x4 window. So it's a little larger than the other ones on the show on the front. And so I didn't know if that would be okay just to be one single window. Again, we're willing to do whatever is preferred and required in this district.
What do y'all think?
For that one, I'll admit, I would rather, I would agree that I would like to have,
Let me get you to speak a little louder into the microphone.
I would think I would like to have multiple frames for the side window.
Okay.
Even if the other ones don't.
Okay. And I don't,
Because it becomes more of a picture window that is, looks like more retail.
you're right.
Well, you're kind of building the look of a traditional house with the long front porch on the front and everything symmetrical. And usually, the old traditional homes had the panes.
Right.
I guess that's what I'm.
Okay.
Are we more comfortable with the panes?
And I don't know if you want more pictures of just to have a reference and a variety, if you were, if you didn't want the panes on the front windows, or if there was kind of a discrepancy, or if you wanted more of a visual. I don't know if this is something that would be decided at permitting, where, you know, during that review process, we submit it, and prior to, we can always send like a visual, and that can go out. I don't know if this is a decision that has to be made now, without, you know, revisiting it at another meeting, or if this is just a stipulation that it will be determined and prior to permitting.
So that's why, like, for commission, giving the option would be, if you would like that, would be possibly the thing that y'all could then go at the later date decide, if y'all deem that appropriate, within the conditions. And that way you could, later at permitting, could possibly do that, because it would be written within the COA if that's what y'all decide to do.
Could you
that day.
phrase that, how it would be phrased?
So it would be phrased, the condition, we approval with the condition of the windows being a 6/6 double hung or a 1/1 double hung window. And you can also say if you want to get even more specific, the left elevation window being 4x4 or 16 pane, or one large pane. So that way it gives those multiple options of being 6/6 double hung or 1/1 double hung.
So there's more of a choice.
Yes, for a later date decision. And it was already written in the COA for y'all, deemed it appropriate and approved it. Because if y'all decided to approve it, then they wouldn't be able to like change the design of the windows.
Are y'all comfortable with a choice, or would you rather it be one way or the other?
Well, I have a question. Are the other homes in the neighborhood, do they have 6/6, or?
Some of them do,
What is
but-
the contrast of the neighborhood?
Some of them do, but this one actually, I'm sorry, I wish I had a picture of it. This one is new construction right here with this little, brand new, white, what you call it?
Driveway?
Driveway, I'm sorry, I lost my words. This one I believe does actually have, 1/1 windows. Because when I was driving down the street, I believe I did see this with 1/1 windows. I wish I had a picture, I could pull it up. I I don't, but just from my memory, I do believe that this one right down the street has it. But again, many of them do have 6/6 that are like this one back here does, but there's one right here that has 1/1. So there's multiple types of windows in this area. So would not be completely against the character of the district. So that would be up to
And
y'all.
that's, I mean, it doesn't have to be matchy-matchy with
Correct.
everything in the district. It just needs to complement the district.
Correct.
So-
So either way would be appropriate.
All right, well, does anybody else have questions before I ask the public if they have questions?
Well, I guess want to say, I go back to what I'm saying. The 1/1 seems fine, but the single pane, I'm not.
Not for the larger one, okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I would think that if they're not gonna do, if they're gonna do 1/1, or, you know, they wouldn't want a 16 pane on the side and then everything else be 1/1.
We want it all to be uniform,
I would think
all
it should be
together, all the same.
uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So maybe keep them all the same.
yeah, either way they go, you know, just be the same.
Okay, well, think about that for a minute. I'm gonna ask the public if does anybody out here have questions? Okay. Do we have a motion here?
I motion that it's their choice, you know, whichever way they want to go with it, but just to keep it uniform. Since there is, you know, a contrast in the district.
Okay, do I have a second to that one?
I would second that. If we did it like Alexis said to do it with the conditions that it be either or.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate you. Okay, let's see. Next on the agenda, we have COA for 600 South Broad Street.
Alrighty. Let me go back through my slides. Alright, so for 600 South Broad Street, these are the existing elevations. The owner is petitioning for a COA to add windows and storefront openings and remove awnings from the existing elevations and add an ADA ramp for more accessibility. So these are current photos of the side elevations of the building where they will be removing awnings. And this is where the ramp will go, right here, where these stairs are. So they would be demoing these stairs, and this was where the ramp would go. And then they would be changing, like removing awnings, adding windows, and changing, adding doors and stuff to add, make room for different storefronts. So this is an interior demo plan of this. So I want y'all, like, we're focusing more about this so it can kind of make more sense. So the whole point of it, like, there would be interior renovation of this, which is why they're adding changes to add more entrances into here. So there would be demoing these to add windows here. These would also be new doors and adding more windows here. And this will be where the ramp will go and demoing these stairs here. And this is a plan of that. Plan view, and now I'll show you the pretty picture of it. So here is the current one. Current elevation, and here's where the new elevation with all the additions. So these doors would be removed, these awnings would all be removed, these stairs would be removed. This ramp would be added, new brick stairs would be added. These brick would match the existing brick on the building. All of this railing would be steel. These windows are large, industrial-looking windows that, again, match the character of the building itself. Their wood siding on this building is going to be repaired as these windows and awnings and things are being removed and stuff added. These windows would be added, and these are new doors to make new entrances into here. And then I believe there's also. Sorry, I believe these are the only new railings. I don't think they're changing these railings. I believe these are gonna remain the existing railings. But, these would be the new steel railings, and this would be all brick, and this would all be brick that would match the existing brick here. Okay, now we're gonna move on to our guidelines. So, this building is very unique in that, or this whole area is very unique because it is a mixed-use, building. And we don't have anything in our primer that specifically talks about mixed-use buildings, mixed-use development. So I went and pulled stuff from our mill section of our primer that talks about the mill district and also the commercial section of the primer and applied that to this as best I could, because I believed it applied to both, as this is a commercial area and it's also part of our mill district. So for the mill section, is adaptive use. The mill district has a variety of types of buildings and functions, and it's important to preserve this type and the original exterior of the buildings. The industrial buildings, which is an industrial building, is the keystone of the Mill Village complex and should be preserved. The continuation of the original use is the most desirable, and in adaptive use situations, new uses should be found to preserve the original exterior appearance of the buildings. This addition of and elimination of awnings, addition of windows and doors, and adding of ramps still maintains the existence of like the exterior of the industrial part of the building. So that applies there. For our commercial rehabilitation guidelines, for doors and windows, we talk about, this talks about like maintaining doors and windows. And these doors and windows that are on the building currently are not historic. They are from 2015, I believe. They are being obviously changed over time, and so they are still not impacting negatively the character of the building itself, which is why this is not detracting from the historic character of the storefront, which is why I included that. And then health and safety code, we talked, I want to talk about handicap accessibility requirements and how the ADA ramp goes with our handicap accessibility compliance and how that applies to our commercial guidelines with the inclusions of the new ADA ramp. And all of this, staff recommends approval of the COA.
Thank you, Alexis. All right, at this time, we will ask the applicant to step forward and introduce themselves. And I just want to say I love an adaptive reuse project, so I think that, yes, it's like recycling at its finest.
Well, thank you. My name's Whit Holder. I'm one of the owners. These buildings were originally cotton warehouses built in 1924, and we did some renovation in 2015, as Lexi said. So we're basically kind of matching the windows that we used at that time. So be happy to answer any questions that you might have about this.
All right. Anybody have questions?
It looks good.
It looks so much better.
It's great.
I think everybody seems to be very pleased. All right, so if there's no questions here, I'm going to ask the public, does anybody have questions in the public? No? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept what he is going to do unanimously.
All right, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carried. Thanks so much. We appreciate you coming in and excited about this project. All right, let's see. Next on the agenda, we have 511 South Madison Avenue.
All right. So this is 511 South Madison Avenue, and this is an application for a COA to add a door to the right elevation of their home in order to access their backyard. So this is the front. This is where we're looking at right here. And this would be where the door is, right behind this fence right here. So this would be, the door is gonna be a French door, multi-light and 5 foot tall, and it's gonna be wood. It's gonna have the round brick wooden landing right here, that walks down into the, actual backyard itself, and it would be replacing this window right here and still maintaining the wood siding, as you can see right here. So it would not, they would not be replacing any of the siding, they would just be like, just making room for this door and then adding this brick landing right here. So, for the guidelines, the details is where I pulled from, and is an important aspect of any preservation project is the retention of original details, so that are compatible to the character of the houses. So in this, for this door, it's gonna be wood and multi-light, and this house is a lot of wood, and the brick itself, there's a lot of brick on the front porch, and all the materials are very compatible with the home and with the character and the architecture of the home, which is why it applied to this specific guideline. And with that, staff recommends approval of this COA.
Thank you, Alexis. I'll ask the applicant to come forward and introduce themselves. And I just say, I'm looking at the pictures that were up here, I was impressed. It looks great. I think it meshes well.
Michael Urquhart, by the way. Michael Urquhart.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
I mean, it's a spare bedroom right now because I have a 2.5-year-old. So running around the front yard is kind of not ideal. So the backyard got fenced in, and then we don't have access to the backyard. So that's why we're wanting to put in 2 doors. It's in a spare bedroom. My wife has turned into an office right now because she works from home. So it'll help her be able to mend with, playing with him, and also be able to work and kind of dual role kind of thing. So that's why we're trying to get the doors put in the backyard. We also have 2 Dobermans too, so we usually have them in the front yard. It'll help us be easier on us to let them go in the backyard too.
Okay, so this allows you to use the property a little
Yeah,
bit easier. Okay. Do we have any questions? I think the photos are, I mean, it's great. It just really demonstrates what you're going to do. All right, well, if we don't have any questions, does anybody in the public have questions? No? All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to,
Let me get you to speak into the microphone.
I make a motion to accept the recommendation.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. Thanks so much.
you.
Okay, let's see. Next on the agenda, we have 338 North Broad Street.
Alrighty. So this is 338 North Broad Street. They are applying for a COA to add an addition to the column, add a column to the front porch, an ADA ramp also to the front porch, exterior lighting, new brick pavers on the front porch, and possibly new roofing. So many things about this house. So the house, you can see from the plan, this is where, we'll start with column and the ramp. So this is where the column would be going, and it would be the same material and look as these existing columns right here, and same color and all. They would look essentially exactly like these other columns right here. And the ramp would be getting rid of this existing ramp, and it would go right here. You can see in this one where this new column would go, and this is where the new ADA ramp would go. And it would also be adding this brick wall, retaining wall, that would be next to this ADA ramp, that would match this brick of this house and have the soldier line also that is existing on the current home as well. And this would apply for our accessibility guidelines as well. And our next thing, our thin brick pavers. So currently, these are our little pavers on the front porch. And this would be the new pattern of the brick pavers, their herringbone pattern design on the, I wish I had gotten a close-up of that, I'm so sorry, guys, of, on the front porch, and they would all be brick, similar to the house itself. It kind of looks like, a sweater cross stitch is what a herringbone is. If you can't really see that well, that's what it kind of looks like, is the best way I can describe it. And that would be the design of the brick on the porch is what they're proposing. This would be the exterior lighting that would go right here next to the front door. And this is very craftsman style, early 1900 style, which is when the house itself was built. There was also included within the application where the monument sign, or this monument sign is going to be located, possibly. Now, there's going to be an extra, different permit for application for a sign at a later date with all, details about that. But it was already included to, let y'all know and see, it would be similar material and location of it on the property, just for y'all's information. So, now let's talk about the roof. So, this is the existing lower roof above the front porch. And the roof, it needs to be cleaned and unclogged and getting all the gutters and recoated with acrylic to try to make sure it doesn't leak. So, that is plan A of the roof, is trying to repair the existing condition of the roof to make sure it doesn't leak. Because right now there's an interior gutter system. If that doesn't work, this is plan B. So plan B is making an exterior gutter system on the roof, and basically making this instead of flat, it would be a new pitched hip roof that would be similar to the top of the roof, the second story roof, sorry. And that would be them redoing the roof essentially if they cannot restore the original roof and fix all the problems with the interior gutter system and fix if it's still leaking. So that would be plan B if plan A does not go through. Yeah. But I essentially told, in contact with Corey, I told them to come talk to y'all and propose all the things to make sure that y'all had all this information, just in case, just to have the option, just in case that were to happen. So, here are all the things all our guidelines that apply to the additions and that the COA is applying for. So, the porch. It's preserving the open character and original materials, which there's already tile on and brick tile on the porch itself, and it would just be replacing that new brick tile, and it's still maintaining the open character of it, and maintaining that railings and floors, the same with the column. That would maintain the materials because it would look the exact same as the other columns and be the same as the other ones. The details, the same with the exterior lighting. We actually don't have any lighting guidelines at all in the primer. So I pulled from the details, and it would be compatible with the character and the architecture of the house being in from early 1900 style, and that's when the house was built. The roofs, again, this would come from they're trying to restore the roof as much as possible, but if they can't do that, it would still be compatible with the current roof because they would have to make it a hip roof, and the second story is already a hip roof itself. So it would still be compatible with that and match the character of the house. And our health and safety guidelines, like we talked about before, adding that ADA accessibility would add handicap ramp and comply with this guideline. So all of this is to say, staff recommends approval of this COA.
Thank you very much. And at this time, I will ask the applicant to come forward and introduce themselves and speak to anything they would like about the project.
Thank you. My name's Corey Arnold. I'm the owner of Georgia Boy Properties. Thank you for the Opportunity to stand here and speak to you. Love to answer any questions that you guys might have.
I'll begin by saying that this application is well thought out in detail with the protection of the significance, the historic significance of the property, and you're looking at anything that could happen. I like it. Does anybody have questions?
I've always loved this house. and
I have
think-
too.
I think what you're going to do with it is great.
And I'm blessed that David was kind enough to give me the opportunity to do so. I look forward to it. I should add, this will be my 4th property inside the historic district. So I'm a lifelong resident of Walton County, and I'm looking forward to taking on this project and making it a beautiful cornerstone of our community.
I want it to be a residential.
So did my wife.
Anybody have any questions? No? All right, well, I would ask the public if they have questions, but,
I don't have questions. But I want to lecture y'all and comment on it a
Okay.
little bit, because I have a certain fondness for that house. I bought it in 1996 and spent almost 30 years as a lawyer there. I told Corey earlier, I think in the application, he said we were dirt lawyers, we were real estate lawyers. And I told him, I said, that was Scott Willis. I never did that. I was a courtroom trial lawyer for all those years. But I used to sit on this board, and I have a real fondness for historic preservation. And I will tell you what Corey proposes to do with that building is absolutely appropriate. I don't know if you know it, but there are 3 of these houses in Monroe that are built on the same plan. The other 2 are the yellow brick houses. One of them's at the corner of Bowles Springs and North Broad. The other one is the old Williamson Hanson house at the corner of Hammond and Church Street. They're essentially craftsman adaptations of a four square plan. The time I occupied that building, we struggled trying to figure out a way to reconstruct that ramp because we didn't put the one there that's there, and it's totally inappropriate. We couldn't come up with a good plan for it, but he has. The roof, I think you're going to end up having to put a hip roof over that.
I hope not, but maybe.
That standing seam. There is nothing more problematic than those interior guttered roofs. And that's another one we really struggled with, trying to figure out what to do with it. And we had said, well, if we ever do replace it, we're going to go with a hipped one to avoid those problems. But I just, finally, want to commend y'all for what you do. You probably don't hear that a lot, but what you do is critical for this community. And I'll give you an example. I'll leave you with this. The Holder boys were in here. I remember very well the night that their dad, Rick, my good friend, came in here with his proposal to completely demolish the mill they were just here talking about. Demolish it and salvage materials out of it. And I made the motion to deny that, and I'm glad I did. Now Rick Holder's glad I did. The whole city is. So what y'all do is critical to our community, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate it, and I hope this whole city does. So that's the end of my speech.
thank you,
y'all.
David. Well, does anybody have any questions? I'm going to recommend that the application be approved as submitted. I do think that, should the roof, should changes need to be made, I think that, sometimes you have to say, in order to save a historic structure, you have to make a little change, and that's, that's understandable. So, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the request.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Look great.
I'm excited about the project. I will say that I do believe that less is more when it comes to these historic projects. If it doesn't have to be done, I don't intend to make any changes, but the things that need it to preserve it, I thank you for your permission to do so.
Let me finish up
Yes,
this.
ma'am,
Say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. There you go. Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excited to see it.
Me too. Follow along.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Next on the agenda, we will have our adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. This concludes the HPC meeting of June 23rd, 2026. We are adjourned.
We got a lot of good stuff.